set up, getting ready to solder, and what I've done, use that 3/4 inch block. I backed the screws out so my runner mount is fitting flat on that block. I've used a clothespin clamped onto the runner to hold it in place, and it's probably going to move a little bit when I solder it, but we'll deal with that. Got my little thing tinning solution ready, and let me get this set up again. Okay, we get my little pen torch lit up here. Apply some heat. Oh, I should have mentioned earlier, I said something about scruffing up the metal before soldering. On the runners, you should scruff it up where it's going to get soldered. It doesn't have to be in an exact location, but just rough it up in a good area, and then mark your lines. And I transferred those lines to the outside of the runner. I don't know if you can see it at this angle or not, but it tells me where I'm going to line up, and I know this is at the right height that I'm going to want it. So we're getting this kind of hot right now. Apply a little tinning solution, clean it up, and I'm using silver solder compared to plumber solder. They tell me this stuff is a lot more stronger, and you'll know when that's hot enough to just fairly lightly touch it, and that solder should melt. You want to get enough in there where it's going to saturate the back side of that plate. Just because you see a little line right there doesn't mean it's soldered. Same thing applies to plumbing. A little tinning solution, get that stuff to flow. And solder's going to want to flow in the direction of your heat. So heat down here a little bit, down here a little bit, and it will draw the solder down. Alright, we'll let that cool off a little bit. Check the other side, see how much flow we have. And I just lost my reel of solder all over the floor. Alright, let that cool off, and then I'll see what I have on the other side. Make sure I have full coverage. Alright, you can see in the reflection here how I scruffed that up a little bit and transferred my marks. And one other thing I forgot to mention. Before you drill, you see you got my little crosshairs right there. Use a center punch. Get that right up in your crosshairs, nail it with a hammer, get a little mark in there, and then drill. Otherwise your drill is going to start walking all over the piece you're trying to drill. You're not going to get a real center drill. Now, you can see here, I don't see any solder protruding on the outside of that. So what I'm going to do, this is a piece of ceramic. You can use a hot plate, something flat. I'm using a piece of scrap. It's the same thickness as my runner, propping that up. And I'm going to apply solder around that. What I do with my lighter in my pocket. Apply some heat to that. My tinning solution ready. Now this shouldn't move. Slightly dab it. Now you can start to see a little bit of that solder flowing out. That's already in it. See that little silver piece off to the right corner there? And we'll just touch it off a little more. And solder, hold your heat just above it a bit. You give it some room to flow. You want to draw it into it. And what I should see when it's all done, I should see solder. See, it's starting to come out of the side there a little bit. That's what you want to see. See, there we go. Let that cool off. And that little spot of solder right there, we can shave that off with my Dremel cutter, cutting wheel. No big deal. Let that cool off. Now you don't want to use one of these big monster torches for this. It's too hot a flame. It's too big a flame. You're going to torch the hell out of this craft. Something wicked. You're going to set everything on fire. So invest in one of those little pen torches. I don't recall just how much that was. Probably about 20 bucks, maybe less. Most places you got to buy the fuel to fill them. Yeah, I got my pen torch at Home Depot. It's sold separately. You have to buy the can of butane separate. And if we can do this in camera, it has a little nipple on the end. Hold that upside down. Place the nozzle over that little nipple. Hold it upside down and press down until it sprays out all over your fingers. Then you know you're full. Okay, there you have it. Back runners are all set and all made. I should have drilled some holes in here and made my lighting up holes, but I could still do that easily. And there's a good reason why I mentioned not to use that big blowtorch. I did this with the little pen torch. I was soldering that. I got distracted. Did a major brain fart. My hand moved. I torched it. It's okay. I can sand off the black a little bit and I can add a little more styrofoam in there. It's an easy fix. But it pays to pay attention. And if I can find whatever I did with those stupid ball link joints, I could do the front end, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Looks like I'm going to have to go out and buy another set. Because I'm a brain farted dumb butt.
Old man.
Old man. Can't remember. I don't know. Goodbye.